Good evening, everybody. This is another episode of the Nico Rico podcast. We didn't introduce ourselves.
They know who we are by now.
Here we are to celebrate. Well, first of all, Rico got a new crib, so congrats on that. And yeah, also today, July 20th, wild guess, wild guess.
Colombia's independence.
There you go. That's my Colombian brother right here. We are celebrating the independence of my beautiful country, Colombia. Yeah, yeah, that's right. So today marks a little over 200 years of independence
200 years
from the
what?
Spanish a-holes. Now,
Nice. Well, you sound like them more over here for real, bro. After you came up, but you feel a whole different way.
I've been feeling myself. Hell yeah,
I'm
baby.
trying to figure out. They were off the Yucatan Peninsula, so they were really like Central America. But
No,
but everybody claiming
well, technically Mexico's North America.
Mexico's North America.
Technically, yeah. It's not. It's really Central America, please. Technically.
You sure about that?
Yeah, 100%.
100% like money wise?
Yeah. Like 100%. It's they consider Mexico
They-
like the
who's
government
they?
people, like the
they?
government people who name things. Technically, they name it North America. I mean, if you look at it, they're kind of right. It is in the actual north. Technically, if you look it up.
You
Later.
know,
Anyways, so why did I want to talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of times people say, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to be grateful for this, you need to be grateful for that. But also a lot of times people say that you owe somebody else for something.
Okay.
So a lot of times, I don't mean to get religious, all right, but I'm about to. A lot of times people are like, oh, you owe God this. Oh, you owe your so and so for your life, and God did all these things for you. Gave you rights, gave you a house, gave you a job, gave you all these things.
Okay.
I'm sorry, got into shit. If I owe something to someone,
Okay.
and that not just me, everybody is guess who? If I owe something to someone, another person, because I'm sorry, there's no proof that your little God exists, is your ancestors. You don't know nobody else anything more. Starting from your mama and your daddy and above. If you wanna say you owe, if you wanna say you owe something to somebody, it's them. And they're all there too. But anyways, the life you have right now, like where you were, you know how in the Olympics they do the little team running track thing where there's is four guys or girls. We gotta be inclusive.
Yeah,
They got the little stick thingy. So you do the first lap and then you give it to the next one and so on and so forth. And how the fourth one can be the fastest guy in the world. But if the other three were kind of messing up, or even if just one guy messed up, you can finish last.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's how I see this. Like when you started in life, you owe it all to them. They fought for your freedom, whether it was slavery from the British people, slavery from the Spanish, from the French, from the Dutch people, whatever it is, or maybe not slaves.
European, but okay.
Well, yeah, European. I should have said that. I mean, Europeans were not the only ones who were trying to conquer things. Oh, this is also another point I want to make just really quickly. A lot of times people say, oh, the Europeans, they came and they destroyed everything. They're a-holes, blah, blah, blah. The tribes in the Americas were just as bad.
Yeah,
the only difference is that they weren't as technologically advanced.
Yeah, most.
All right, so
yeah,
I just
want
to throw that out there because the people in the East wanted to conquer the West, the West wanted to conquer the East.
Were pretty.
All these tribes in Colombia, the Mayas were probably looking at the Incas were probably looking at the Mayas like, look at all that land they got. Oh, look at all the technology. Let me take over. So.
Right.
All right, it's not an European thing. It's just that they had
It's a human thing.
They have more skills and more technology. It's just a human thing. So I'm sorry. All right, if they were in the same position, I'm 90% sure they would have done the exact same thing. But anyways, when you were the second you were born, that situation, all the things that your mom could have given you, your dad could have given you, come from their parents, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
If they didn't fight, we didn't know if we would still be there a lot of times. Because I don't know if it's the same case here, but I was watching this soap opera. I watch a lot of soap operas about the independence.
Oh, okay.
Like back in the Colombian independence, so about 1800s or late 1700s. Like, these people were dreaming about being free from the Spanish for literally hundreds of years. And it sounded like a dream, like, oh yeah, like, yeah, so like, well, we're gonna fly now, like the government's gonna respect us now. Yeah, that's a joke. But no, people were literally fighting and they gave their life. And they educated their kids to do the same and to die for their country. We're not a part of their kingdom. We're our own people.
Mm-hmm.
And then we became free. Just the fact that we became free and they got to say we're not Spanish anymore. Mm-hmm. People gave their tears and blood for that.
Right.
And you were just born into it. Like, think about it. If they didn't fight that hard, maybe you'd be in the same place now.
Absolutely.
Because why? If they didn't push, they push back. If they didn't do that, what were the Europeans gonna do? Say, hey, you know what? Y'all want to be free? Yeah. You guys are too much work. It never would have happened. So you have to be thankful for everything they did.
That's true.
For you.
Circumstances would lend themselves to say over time, as society changes, it just might be.
Did you finish yours?
Yeah. It might be conducive to establish freedoms and say, hey, this colony would do better under a sovereignty of its own, and we would do business with it, and yada yada yada. But not every place is like that. As you can see, places like Russia, China, and in America still hold very hard to certain colonies. America still holds on to Puerto Rico. Russia still looks to hold on to Ukraine. China still looks to hold on to Tibet. So there are those things. Taiwan? Oh, it's not Tibet. Oh, okay. So
Tibet is just a mountain.
Right. So we still have those situations where you have modern day countries that still aggressively hold on to colonies. A lot of colonies have been freed. I think I for the most part, I think that
it happens more than it looks like.
Yeah, no, it happens a lot more. I think that England has freed our colonies. I don't think there's anyone still. There's still some places that say they're.
Yeah, they have a couple in Africa.
So
it's just that it doesn't look the same as before. So people are like, "Oh, everyone is free, but you can't." Not.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to be so. Free is one thing. Sovereign nation, when you're still connected to the nation that you want to be free from, is very difficult. So for Jamaica, who became free of England, we're in the Caribbean. They're up in the British Isles. It was a little bit. It makes more sense. Colombia, to be free of Spanish rule, makes a lot of sense. Someplace like, Ukraine or Siberia, they're right beside Russia. They're right there to be considered.
They're really small, and Russia's really big and powerful.
Places like Yugoslavia and aspects like that, they're right there. It's very difficult to be a sovereign nation and have them respect you of your own when you're right at their front door. America would never allow a sovereign nation within itself, or even close to itself. That's just how it. Look, the closest idea is Wales. Ireland, and Scotland, because they are all in the British Isles. For them to have gotten sovereignty being that close in proximity, bro, how difficult it was for them to do that. So, and
you gotta admire their air force. Everyone forgets about it all the time.
Yeah, and like I say, you're thankful for what you owe. Yes, you fundamentally owe the people who come before your ancestors for their efforts. You owe them for whatever you got, but you also have to look for them to whatever ills you have as well. The problems that the current generations leave for future generations is also one of the inheritances that we have. The BS that we pass on, as well as the blessings that we have passed on the same way. Blessings, burdens, BS, whatever you want to call it. We pass it to the next generation. So like I said, some places like China, they're oppressive as shit, but they're trying to pass on a generalized benefit to their people, not just individuals.
You know what I've noticed about China? China, at least my opinion, like with all the history books and stuff, and like the history of like the world or modern world, whatever you call it, China is always up there. Like you hear about the ex-empire, you hear about the peak of the British, and then the peak of the Spanish, and the peaks, and then they kind of go away. China has always been out there, bro. Always.
China fell off. See,
they fall off, but they're always been like you don't hear about that about the Japanese.
Yes, no,
or the Indians.
Yeah, so
it's always China. Oh, so China's always there.
China's always been there, but China was closed for a long period of time, and they're a large part of land, very tribal. When the Mongolian invasion came through and kind of unified China, the Mongol Empire was basically like, you guys, to make sure there wouldn't be civil unrest, they would allow people to still worship and practice or whatever. They just be under Mongolian rule. As that converted
Is
over,
Mongolia still like a country itself called Mongolia?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know they have to do with the Russians and the Chinese.
In between,
there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. So ultimately, what happens with China is China was one time when they were literally closed off from the world. They weren't really developing it. In the last 25 years, they've just spearheaded because culturally they were a certain type of person or a certain type of people. So when they were Japanese and Chinese are very meticulous. They strive to be the best in there. They're not validated by other cultures or other people. They're self-validating individuals. We are the best because we can identify what the best is amongst ourselves. They're not marketing to anybody. They don't market to undermine their own people. They know that they're collectively, they are a beehive or an anthill. They know collectively they work together. So they're a strong nation at the expense of the individual. Other countries, the value of the individual is greater than the society. So I can get more money out of you than I can only get 25 cents out of my people collectively. Get 25 cents out of every head because they come in and get their little shot right. But I can get infinitely more out of you, the individual, because you separate yourself from everybody else. I can exploit you for more. So it's a weird. We have weird freedoms.
And have you ever heard of Simon Bolivar or Bolivar? Have you heard of him before?
Or him?
Simon or Simon Bolivar?
No.
No, never have?
No.
Okay, so this is a very interesting individual. And
from Colombia?
Well, back then it wasn't called Colombia, but he was born in what's today known as Venezuela.
Okay.
But so this dude, to me, he's like Alexander the Great, and he doesn't get the credit he should. I think because he's not European. I think it's that simple. But
he vocalized.
This man, yeah. So he was called a criollo. A criollo is the son of a Spanish and an indigenous people, but it's really the people from the Americas.
Okay.
So a mixture of both of them. So of course they weren't slaves, because they had a lot of people from Colombia who were slaves, and also they usually were kind of middle class.
No, keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, I posted his picture on my Instagram. You saw it, didn't you?
No. I don't do Instagram like that. I don't know why we.
Well, you shared a little meme with me today, but anyways, it's him.
Okay.
So I admire the shit out of this man. So this man, I don't know if he hated the Spanish or what, but he loved our country and who we were before we were even a thing. This man, he liberated not one, not two, not three, but 5 goddamn countries, bro.
Damn.
So he went to Venezuela and he kicked the Spanish out. He went to Colombia.
That's you.
Damn it.
Probably my neighbor. Okay. Hey, what's up, baby? What's this? Can you open it for me? Oh. Okay. I don't need your help. I can. You got it. You got games, bro.
Three, no.
I don't want the bar. I'm here.
I'm about to like break my hand already.
Oh, in the box. Go in the box. You have to tap it, bro. Tap on the edge or something. You putting the whole thing? Tap it on the edge.
No, break, no, break it.
Oh, you got a trick? Hey, I lose on this for you. You're welcome. Hey, what did you do? Anytime you have a hard cap to open, if you warp the edge of the cap, it'll come off.
Like you just want like
You
this?
just tap the edge. You just tap the edge, it'll like do anything.
really?
Now,
It wasn't bad, it was too slippery.
the only one that won't work is like a really like a hard, tall edge. If it's this tall, it's got a sharp, like a hard edge. Those are hard to do. But if man, usually.
So you just went like that, huh?
Yeah, you just tap on the edge, and also it'll loosen the air. Because really, that's all you gotta do.
All right. So as I was saying,
Oh, you gotta edit all that out, but okay.
oh, it's fine. Just it gives it a little more, more natural feel to it.
Right.
I cut honestly. So this man, he liberated Venezuela. Then he went to Colombia. He wanted to do something what was called the New Colombia, and he wanted to get all the five together. So Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Ecuador, north of Peru, and no, yeah, those five. So he wanted to liberate them all and call them the Great Colombia, because it was called the New Grenade. That was the name given by the Spanish.
Oh, okay.
And he said, no, let me get them all together, liberate them from them. So after he did all of that, 5 countries, now 5 from the Spanish, which at the time they were like this shit besides the British. He, of course, they wanted him to be the president. He said, nah, I ain't finna do that president shit. He appointed somebody else, and then he kept going down, and he got one more.
Wow. He just knew he wasn't. He didn't want to become complacent as a president.
No, he didn't want to be the president. He just wanted to liberate everybody. He could have just been like, you know what? Let me chill.
I'm rich now.
Take all this tax money. I've worked so hard.
Yeah, I'm the king now, or whatever. Man, that's what's up.
He said no.
What was his name?
Simon Bolivar.
Or what was he?
I'll type it for you.
What was he called?
He's called like the great liberator. I don't know
what we said. Well, he's a mixture between.
Oh, criollo.
A criollo.
That means you're the son of America-born people, or a person, or a European.
All right.
But usually Spanish.
So in Jamaica, there's a man called Kojo, and he was a Maroon, which is like an African in the region. And this dude,
Maroons, are they from Morocco?
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah. That reminds me of.
So he was one of the great Jamaican liberators, fought the British, and he during the time when Nanny and the Maroons were like, it was a mother Nanny. She's one of our Jamaican heroes, and he was one of the first ones to establish the free peoples of Jamaica. So he didn't liberate the nation, the island, but he was able to set up a colony, which is pretty much like the free Africans there. And his name was Kojo. And there's
that sounds like Kyojo.
Yeah, it's really close. So it's
really close.
Yeah. Really, I thought it might be like a play on the word if it means something, because it could be.
Well, maybe he was the son of a Jamaican woman or man.
Yeah, and
a British man or woman.
Yeah, because you have the Africans that were there, you have the Arawak Indians that were like the indigenous people of the island. So
like the natives of
the island, yeah. So the Arawak Indians, they were in Jamaica, they were in Puerto Rico. So yeah, it sounds very simple. So yeah.
It might be, yeah. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching this podcast.
Go Independence Day for Colombia.
And leave a like. Don't forget, share it with everybody. Thank you, Rico, for this podcast.
Thank you for the
You were a little bit more Colombian today.
A little bit more Colombian today.
You really are. And yeah, thank you for tuning in and subscribing. Have a good one. Press it again.